there's a whole wave of rethinking and resetting we haven't gone through since March 2020. What are the new innovative hospitality concepts that have actually caught your attention these past months that you've seen around the world? Because basically innovation is really creating and not responding to a need, but anticipating.
Well, I think the whole booking, check-in process, the book, check and payment process is basically eliminating any need to meet any hotel staff whatsoever. With various apps, you can book, you can go to your room, you can enter your room and you can pay and leave without actually ever meeting any member of the company that you've just done business with. I think that's one area of it. What I think is innovative and interesting are things like the use of robots and automation, particularly in areas like room service, delivery. I've never quite understood why we don't have some kind of valet box outside of every room that enables the food to go in one side and the guests to take it out the other side. From a security perspective, we can manage the security of that. You don't have to make it so big that somebody can climb through it. But the other side of it, it just is, if you're a single traveler, you just don't want the hassle of calling up room service and having them take your tray away. You want to be able to put it in, press a button and say, it's in the valet box, come and pick it up. And the other thing I think is it takes away all that horrible sight of trays in the corridors, which is something, the last thing a new guest wants to do is to walk down a corridor with half-eaten eggs and bacon on the floor. I really do favour those kind of innovations. The other area of innovation that perhaps people don't see is the subconscious level, and that's where wellness is playing a big part in this. And we'll probably talk about how wellness and hotels integrate a little bit later. But just to say that in this context of what you're saying in innovation, think about things such as lighting, air quality, the design of the guest rooms. All of those things are new innovations from what we've learned that actually subconsciously improve your stay in ways that you as I say, you're subconscious, you're not even aware of it. Does that answer, or would you like me to carry on talking?
No, it's actually, thank you. Yeah, it's also a lot of reflection and thought that is going on around this exact untangible differences that make a bigger difference to the quality of air and the quality of little details.
Those things, Zeina, those things are very difficult to justify, because how do you put a price value on that? You theoretically, you want to be able to quantify and measure the success of any innovation you do. And I think the only way you can really measure that success is on the guest satisfaction surveys or that kind of feedback, because it's very difficult to quantify that in terms of return on investment. Does it increase the room rate? I mean, that has been a debated question in terms of thinking of wellness rooms in hotels. Various companies have tried that. Hilton have tried it, Mandarin have tried it. I did it with Swiss Hotel. Various hotel companies, W Group, various hotel companies have got wellness components in their guest rooms. And nearly always that focuses on, okay, what premium does that give on the guest room? Delos would argue that that gives up to a 25% premium on the room rate. However, if you actually check with the wellness rooms in Marriott hotels in Florida, or I think what's the other brand? I can't remember. There's Marriott and there's another brand in America, but that have got wellness guest rooms. When I check on them, it's only yielding anywhere from a 10 to 15% increase in the room rate by having a wellness room as opposed to a non-wellness room. So that tells me two things. One, there's a demand for these things. How much it is, we don't quite know. The unanswered question to me, and the one that really intrigues me, is, okay, what aspects of those things in that design are the things that the guest wants? Because if you throw in 20 things, you don't know which one of those things is the one that the guest likes. I do know from my own experience, when we tried this with Swiss Hotel in Zurich and put a Vitality suite in there, that I was more intrigued to answer the question, what is it they like, rather than what premium can we get? And I discovered very clearly that air quality undoubtedly is enormous. And that is something people aren't even aware of until they go into another environment where they don't have air quality. So air quality was one of the big factors in it. And actual space in the room and having functional furniture was quite innovative. And to be able to have the furniture that can do multitask, so you can work, play, and rest in the room, which actually leads me to another area. And you started me on. I'll just finish on this last one. I'm also very intrigued and working with a group to figure out, okay, if you've got a city hotel of around about 20 to 25 square meters in your guest room, what can you do to make that room still selling at the same room rate, but be a competitive advantage over your competitors? And that is to think, okay, how much room does the bed actually occupy in that 25 square meters? It occupies quite a substantial amount of space. And there's various people that have tried to say, okay, we can do fold up beds, we can do hideaway beds or something like that. But then they've never really thought about, well, what do you do with the space once you've created that space? And I think that's the innovation, is to say, okay, if we can magically get the bed out of the way, what do we do with the space? And can we make that an attractive enough room that people will say, oh, I'm happy for the bed to disappear to make this my office or whatever it is while I'm here. So those are the kind of innovations that I particularly like looking at.
Agreed. One of the concepts that I've seen in Belgium is WUST, W-U-S-T,
yes,
in
I was
Antwerp.
just looking at that.
Absolutely, and it's amazing how they were launched just before COVID. Everyone thought that the launch wouldn't go easy because of COVID, and actually they had an amazing occupancy because people wanted to have a place in the city where they could co-work. And this is also a topic that I believe we will be covering when we talk about cities and the new spaces, because people wanted a place where to stay. Yeah.
Totally agree with you, and we have a concept that's happening in England which is very similar to that. I'm just reading the notes, and I just want to reply to Catherine Cosby's note here about the lighting and heating in the room. One of my bed bugs actually is that innovation is so creative and talented that you can't figure out how to turn the lights on. It irritates me like crazy. Or that you have one switch and you have to press it several different ways to get all the different lights on it. That's a classic example of innovation going so far overboard that it actually irritates the guests.